to maximize your time for the next 20 minutes about secure cloud storage, how we made it very simple. We are a partner of AWS. You will see how we work with AWS later on. So basically, let's start with big information that everybody knows. Confidential data is very important. Important because if you can unleash the power of it, you can maximize your profit, your company valuation, you can do optimization and so on. The only issue with confidential data when you want to digitize it and make it part of your innovation is how can you manage it with cloud adoption? As soon as we talk about confidential data and cloud adoption, we see that there is on the market a lot of people that are missing for different jobs title inside the company with different expertise. And we saw earlier there are multiple products that we need to manage and to handle inside the company. There is another issue also. If you do things in the bad way, the impact is direct. It's about cash, but it's also about how long your company is going to be in the freeze mode. And eventually it can go from few days to months sometimes. And to finish with, we know all of us have different solutions in order to implement our different platform, products, and so on. The only issue sometimes if you use only one product, you are kind of very tied to it. Technologically speaking, or maybe contractually speaking, or other things. I'm not going to do further on this. So this is where today, if you think of, I have confidential data, I have to put it in the cloud, the unique answer that you have is I need to encrypt it. And if I encrypt the data, that means I have encryption keys that now becomes the sensitive information. Where are they? Are they stored in the right way? Did you do the right processes and the rotation for it? Are they backed up or not? And so on. And it brings a lot of complexity. It needs a lot of expertise, a lot of processes, and so on. And if you start and you can be 100% confident with the data, there are two things with it. It's more and more, like in volume, bigger and bigger. And the second part is we need to collaborate on it. So if you put collaboration, sharing of information, this key become even more complex to manage. And this is where we created Astran. We take as, let's say, a fundamental solution or approach. Can we have a secured way to store and share the data without having any encryption key to manage? I'm not saying there is keys that are managed somewhere else. I am saying without encryption keys, removing this from the picture. And so we created Astran with in mind these three things. How we can make data security in the cloud as simple as possible. To be very precise with you, it's as simple as calling an AWS S3. It's the same API that you are exposing, but you have nothing else to manage. But with that API, you are at the maximum level of security. You are zero trust implemented by design in it. And the way that we did it, we can ensure that there is only the data owner that can access the data, nobody else, excluding Astran also. And this, other than the cybersecurity side of it, so no leaks, no ransomware, no whatever things, no more on the cyber side, it also brings compliance. So we are fully GDPR compliant. We can bring immunity to other territorial laws or this kind of things. And you can have the full control on where you are putting the data, with which cloud provider are you, I would say which cloud providers, with the S at the end, are you working and managing, and where is your data residency. So you can adjust its only configuration. So basically when we reach this point of the presentation, my, let's say, prospects or customers, they say, it sounds like magic, but in reality, how does it work? So I will do a first level of explanation, and then we can go even deeper if we want on more machines and so on. So the first level is as follows. As I mentioned, it's an S3 API, and there is no keys. So you just need to contact this API as an S3, any object storage, push data, you got an ID, push an ID, you got your data, and you can share with who is legitimate to access that information. As soon as you reach our gateway, of course, first thing, we are going to authenticate to see if you are a legitimate person. So we are going to connect to your IAM, for example, the one from AWS, and see if you are the person that is pretended to be. If you put MFA, biometric, or whatever behind the scene, I am just going to inherit this. It's a token at the end. and everything in the full process is fully authenticated each time. So next step, let's say that you are allowed to go further on the process in here. The first step that we will do is a shuffling. Shuffling is a simplified way to say that I am going to encode the data with a specific particularity of this encoding. It's called all or nothing transform. If you go on astran.io, you have the full technical side of it, of course. But the all or nothing transform is basically working as follow. It takes the data in clear mode. It will encode it. It's becoming not clear at all. If you have the full, let's say, encoded data, you can revert back to the original information. If you have a small part, even the very little of it, that is not accessible, you cannot do the rollback and access your original data. All or nothing transform. Basically, you can think of it as if it was a classical encryption, but with a key that is diluted inside the encrypted data. So you don't need to manage it, okay? Second step, now that we encrypted this, we understood that if we have everything of it, we can decode back and have the information. If you have something missing, we cannot decode it back. So it goes quite well with fragmentation. Fragmentation is another cryptography algorithm. It's called threshold secret sharing. The objective of it is to divide it into small pieces, add some crypto on top of it again. And actually each part that is going to go out of the system is going to be noise. I mean, it's something that has been shuffled and then fragmented. You cannot, force it, you cannot hack it, you cannot leak it, you can do nothing with it. But then stays one element. The thing is, if we cannot construct back the information in here, we are kind of stuck because we cannot have the information back. So what we did, let me just go one step further. We put into the algorithm, and this is why it's called threshold, 2 parameters. So for example, in this picture, I can say to my algorithm, I want to fragment the information into 4 pieces, that I will put each piece on a different cloud provider. But starting with any 3 of them, whatever, let's say the random choice that you want to put, I can reconstruct back the information, which make us, let's say, very tolerant to non-accessibility of one of the fragments. All cloud providers are not having the same level of maturity, so we have also to deal with that. And so we have, with this approach, a cumulative or a combination of high availability of multiple cloud providers. And I can even continue and have a continuous availability of service even if one cloud provider is not accessible, or if someone, let's say malicious, managed to reach one of the fragments and, I don't know, ransomware it or make it, not accessible for consumption again. So this is the full cycle. You can choose your clouds, where to put them. You can choose the number of fragments in total and number of fragments in minimum. So you can say, okay, I want 5 fragments out of 8. This is something that is just by configuration. And you have this streaming mode that will do the security for you in an approach where you don't have to manage any of the keys, and it makes it very simple for you to develop and to store confidential data. Okay? So now the same slide seen in more infrastructure manner. I'm going to put all the animation in one shot. Once we reach the gateway, we will start with one of the cloud providers. And of course, we are partners with the different cloud providers. For now, we have 6, the 3 hyperscalers and 3 here out in France. And we have specific partnership with some of them, not all of them. And you understand better why I am here, for example. Basically, if the query is coming from here, we will go after the authentication into one of the different cloud providers, and I can go from anyone, of course. I will do the shuffling and fragmentation, and then the result of the different fragments will go and will be distributed in all the different cloud providers. And I can then, if I have a get data, go from another place if I want. So it's up to us. Now, as an example here, just to illustrate, other than the security side, how can I say that? The compliance side is those data can be for sure managed or stored in Europe. But if it's personal information, the processing side is this one here. So we can say by affinity, if it's personal data, I want only to go through European cloud providers. they will do the job at this level, and then the split can go again on all the cloud providers. We have a letter from LACNIL, which is the French organization that confirm GDPR compliancy, that stipulates that this solution is GDPR compliant, even by using extra, let's say, nationality solutions. So very happy to continue with that. Again, everything is present on our website. And very often, when we say it's as easy as an API call, it's bringing a lot of speed into the projects, but we wanted to go one step further. Basically, all the tools, especially SaaS tools, for example, they are not S3 compatible by design. So some of them are quite open with nice APIs, like those folks, for example. And the way that we did an integration or an extension for make it even simple, we can easily, with a plugin that we built, go on Salesforce and say, I want this field and this attachment and files. And even though you see them into Salesforce application, so that means for the end user, they don't know that we exist actually. Behind the scene, the data is sent directly to Astran, and a non-sensitive random data is sent to system of record of Salesforce, which makes actually those data that you will select never go and never cross any Salesforce servers, because it's on your laptop, on your device, in which you are going to have the reconciliation and the split, if I can say it this way. So this is one of our accelerator. And the second one is we have on our website also multiple samples. For example, there is how to create a fast backup. So it's a Python code. As soon as you put something in a folder, it will go. You will have also this UI. It's a simple explorer, so it's not a document management system, but it's a simple web UI in order for any non-technical person to start importing, uploading, versioning, sharing the data. Again, very simple manner. And if you want to have a real document management system, you choose the one that you want with an S3 compatibility, and you connect it to our API. Okay? So now the question is, until today, what our customers do with this technology. And there are three main use cases. I mean, I'm talking about secure storage. Use cases are just by thousands. There are so many of them, okay? And even if it's like a question, what do you do with AWS S3, for example? So many use cases possible. But here are some of the most relevant one or most frequent one. There is one that is very related to, let's say, an orientation about resilience and security and how to minimize cyber attacks. And the objective is to say, I can collect my vital data of a company and push it to Astran. I have this complete 100% secure approach. One of our big customers did already that. And it is interesting because it is not deeply connected into your system or into your applications. So it's something that is outside your system, and you can push into it all the information that can be, I don't know, HR, finance, legal, corporate, things that are very sensitive to you. It can be your intellectual property or this kind of things. And you know they are there. And you can put, since the beginning, the nice format, like a human readable format, like this, just in case you have easy access to it, and you can get from it and have no interruption of services. Another use case is oriented with applications. So a very simple example to say is, let's say you have a patient app or a doctor app. I don't know if you know Doctolib, which is an application very nice to take meetings with your doctor and so on. So basically, think about it. They are not my customer, just for illustration. Think about it as anything related to you as a patient. So your personal information, your health information, they will go just from the device, your mobile phone, to Astran APIs and vice versa, and they will never cross any other servers. And this kind of situation can be combined with other technologies, and this is what we did with my use case that I explained to you earlier on Salesforce. Salesforce is very nice because it's a fixed application. We know what is the model, we know how it works, so we can easily work on it in order to do the reconciliation and this kind of things. There are other use cases that are starting now with some of our customers, like things for you have big data, you have data lakes, you put all your data in a raw mode, so that means you have a lot of confidential information in it before starting, anonymizing it, standardizing it, and so on. We can be a good fit for that. You push all of it, and then you work on it to make it, more usable and useful for you. And we have also other use cases that are more related to, let's say, intellectual property or things that companies put as a secret. Let's say if you are a big company and you do maintenance for another big company, the end date of the maintenance contract, which is a very small information actually, it's very, very sensitive information because the competition can fit at that time actually. So you want it to be very secure, and this is where it can be another place to store this kind of information. Again, use cases are so many. It's just about if you think of where should I put or where can I put my confidential data. And this confidential data, usually you are ready to pay a lot of money for it to be 100%, ensure that it's in a nice place and a good place. And this is where we fit quite nicely. So one of the examples that I mentioned earlier, my customer put the vital data, as I mentioned, corporate data. Since the day one, they use the web interface. Like this, the non-technical people start putting the data and the information, while a technical person, as you can see, the project has been done by one developer in 2 weeks. 2 weeks is time for going into production. It's a big company again. It's not like a startup, very agile at the beginning. So this is for them never done before, especially for this kind of sensitive information. And the last part of this funny project is they size it by themselves before starting with us. We kind of came in the right moment. And they size it with 6 people for more than 7 months of projects. So when they saw us, of course, they checked everything with us on the security side, with the DPO on the compliance and GDPR side, because there are some HR data in it and so on. And once they validated everything, it's like it goes boom, like this. And now, of course, I am doing more and more projects with them, but they are kind of secret. I cannot share them in here. And basically, it's the same way that I propose with any of my prospects or customers. The usage of it is quite simple. We identify a project with vital data, with confidential data, something that is valuable for you. We can go with it directly, maybe via the web interface or via the plugin if it's more related to Salesforce as a start. And since day one, you can start using it. While we automate, the automate part, it can go very fast, very quick. And then we globalize once you saw on the first project, how easy is it, how secure is it, in order to use it on other projects. You can see over there our partners, some of the different elements that we won, and some of our customers, of course. So when I say big customers, you may know now who I am talking about. And if you have any question, I will stay around a little bit, and thank you very much for your attention.